Cause I don't care what you think.
There's no comparison between Stefan and me.
Laura!
Don't be so hard on yourself. I took your proposal very seriously.
Thank you, Laura. I'll savor that morsel when I'm sipping borscht at Starbucks in Red Square.
Basically, I'm still leaving. Woo! Okay. We are in the thick of it. We are back at it. As we can see here on full display, the life lessons of Steve and Laura. It's Steve and Laura time. Check your time. It's right now. You know what I'm saying? And we're in this mode of Steve is in some doubt. There's some some proposals that went down. You know what I'm saying? Talking to parents. It's going down. Let's get it.
Steve, listen.
No, you listen, sweetheart. Stefan is the man for you. With him, you'll live an exciting, glamorous life.
They look like the popular choice, don't they? Okay. Yeah, Carl, that's what I've been saying. Woo, Lord, woo, 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 woo. Exactly. I tell you, she could have legit model. Thinking like Gladys Knight. The glamorous life, huh? The glamorous life. What Steve's talking about.
What can I possibly offer you compared to that? A modest existence and a tiny apartment playing with test tubes and cheese?
Why is this so important right now? Because the one area that Steve is doubting. Okay, let's just go back.
Intelligent. Not like that. In fact, I think brains are very sexy. Sexy?
Oh, you could do it. You're such a smart scientist, man. You are dating Stefan Urkel. He is gorgeous and smooth, and Steve is not.
I know. But Steve has other qualities I find attractive.
Look, oh my gosh. Look at what's happening.
Love about Steve.
That's what's important.
Well, he's sweet and he's gentle. And he makes me laugh. And he's really smart.
Right.
One day I think one of his crazy inventions might change the world.
Keep game on this. Laura said, I believe that one day one of his inventions will change the world. Right? So again, what are we talking? Potential. Laura sees the potential in Steve, and it's the area that Steve is doubting. And I wanted to look at those videos too, because it's also understanding, Laura saw all the glitz and the glam and all that stuff, and she still fell in love with Steve. And Steve is not considering that. With Stefan being right there and being on top of the world with Stefan and being the highlight and the popular couple, Laura still fell in love with him. And so we always fall into is comparison. Comparison is so evil. Here you go, Steve is comparing himself Stefan, right? And Stefan, Steve is now recognizing that maybe what Stefan has, Laura doesn't need. And now this man is in a place of doubt. Steve has never doubted this area when it came to him and Laura. He's never doubted his love. Where did that go? Oh, comparison killed it.
Steve, but how can you just leave? You told me you love me.
I do love you. I adore you. I worship the rain, waters the grass that grows on the ground you walk on. Accept this small gift as a little memento of our 2 glorious weeks together.
Steve, this is really beautiful.
Presentation.
This.
Presentation, Steve. But he gets better as we know.
A present?
A Bible for bodacious days.
Oh, gosh.
Sunshine.
Oh, gosh.
On a cloudy day.
I think Jalil may be the only one. Well, I don't know about Cherry Johnson on the show that has no singing, does not have any of the vocals at all. But it's romantic.
I guess you'll say what's gonna make me feel there's a way.
Feel it.
My girl.
His girl.
Yeah, we got got to stop. We got to stop. It's gone on for too long. My ears are ringing. My ears are ringing.
To win a kiss from you by singing you a love song. Huh? Suppose I arranged for you to meet Johnny Gill personally. Would you like that?
I'd love it, but
Oh, no buts. Suppose I made it happen. Would you reward me with a kiss?
sure. I'd lay one on you that would weld your glasses to your face.
No lies detected if you know the future. If you know the future, no lies detected.
Gee, I wonder who that could be.
Steve came through.
Look, I've been thinking about what you're doing here, and I must admit that it is kind of romantic.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I don't know about y'all, but I think I can smell Steve from here. I don't know. Maybe it's my imagination. I don't know. Something, poof went by me.
Steve, what happened?
Merry Christmas, Laura.
Emily! Steve, how did you ever find her?
Well, I went down to the dump, and I lucked out. It only took me 16 hours.
He said he lucked out only took him 16 hours. Well, you a couple hours away from 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? A full day.
Steve, you did that for me?
Of course. I love you.
Ooh.
All I've ever wanted to do was make you happy. The only way I believe I can do that is if I step aside.
The only way, don't think about that. The only way that I think that I can continue to make you happy when the way that I've made you happy in the past is being around. But now I think the only way that I can make you happy is by getting out your life. Gut-wrenching. Because Steve has always been so confident about him and Laura. So confident. But when you've gone this far, you have tasted the sweetness of Laura Winslow lips. This is why I also say being with Steve before she was ready would have crushed him. Would have crushed him. Because all Steve and Laura have done at this point, all they've done is kiss. People like, Laura should have got with Steve sooner. No, she shouldn't have. He ain't even got all of her yet, okay? He ain't got all of her yet. And you see the mode that he's in. He's holding her in his arms, and in his arms, he tells, they exchange I love yous. And Steve is just like, I can't go backwards. Laura, you better say something.
Goodbye, Laura.
Ooh, Laura, you better say something.
I do have one favor to ask of you. One small favor. Remember me.
That's gonna hit.
Steve, wait! You can't just leave.
Why not?
Because I can't imagine my life without you.
This scene is so emotional. Why did Laura let it get to this point? And I actually think that's a very good point. Here's the first thing that you have to look at when it comes to Steve and Laura once again. That was different when it came to Steve and Myra. Laura always lets Steve talk. She does not talk over him. Okay? That is something you see throughout their friendship turned relationship. What you also see here is Steve is not letting Laura speak. Laura has not said much. Laura is in confusion right now. I think Laura was relying on Steve's confidence and the fact that he has never been shaken. He has never been broken. He has always kept his stance when it comes to them. And so I think Laura was relying on that. And so now Steve is, put her in this position where they both mad. They're both mad. They're both frustrated. They're both confused.
Because I can't imagine my life without you. What made you say yes to Dad?
I loved him with all my heart, and I felt I couldn't live without him.
That's what you needed right there, Laura.
What are you trying to say?
Now you got to get it all out there.
Well, I'm saying that I love you and I want to marry you.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh. This is what, again, I keep saying, this is what makes the Steve and Laura storyline so beautiful. right? Because remember what I've been saying this whole time. All this time, Steve has been the confident one about him and her. But now the roles are reversed to where Steve's like, wait, you do? And Laura's like, yes. You know what I'm saying? Now it is reversed. She does it here where she tells Steve, not only do I love you, don't want to live without you, but I want to marry you, but I want to make you my man. You know, oh my gosh. It's such a beautiful moment though. Such a beautiful moment. Look at Steve. Steve's going through so many emotions. We gotta look at the tears, man. Look at the tears. You gotta give your little props there, though, man. He took himself all the way there with that. But you gotta give him props on that. The tears. And this is the thing, like, is he teary-eyed right now because he thought he was gonna lose her? Is he teary-eyed because he got her? Or is he teary-eyed that the situation was just emotional? I don't know which way. But every way it went, it was good. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing that I always find so baffling, you know, is people say it was random. It was random. Steve and Laura getting together was out of the blue. And I sit up here and I ask and I say to the smart people in the world, how could it be random when the seeds were already planted, right? So when they started putting Steve and Laura together, there were the seeds they were being planted, they were bearing fruit. Right? They were bearing fruit. See, this is what we don't. This is why we we look at some people and we admire them and we admire what the fruit of their labor, but not the labor. That's what we do. We admire the fruit of their labor, but not their labor. And people overlook Steve and Laura's labor. People overlook the stuff that they went through, you know, talked through, sat through, you know, all these different things that they worked out, the up and downs, the distractions, the different people coming in, messing with the heart. Stefan even coming and stepping on Steve's toes and proposing to Laura. All these different things, even that was a part of Steve and Laura's journey. And I think that it was really good because it really showed Steve like, okay, wait a minute. This girl really loves you though. Let's go back here for a second.
But so was Laura. I saw her rejecting me over and over again. And I realized something. I can spend my whole life chasing a dream. Or I can let a dream catch me.
It's wicked, whack.
This is why I said that was one of the weakest, wackest line. Or I can let a dream catch me. It was extremely whack. Now, like I said, put that up against, you know, the Steve and Laura moments. They don't even compare. But the reason why I said that was whack is because what Steve saw as rejection, you know what I'm saying, was actually seeds being planted. What Steve saw as rejection was him trying to rush the process. Because I'm going to remind people, what Steve is asking for from Laura is not girlfriend. It's forever. Steve wants Laura forever. Do you know when you go and you give yourself to somebody forever, there should be a preparation? There should be a preparation here, because I know a lot of y'all think like, oh, I know you're talking seeds because, you know, he went and did the, you know, got Johnny Gill to sing for her and, you know, all those different type of things like that. And I'm like, you guys, you know what? The seeds, yes, those are seeds that were planted. Absolutely. Also, the seeds that were planted, check it here, is talking out things. You know what I'm saying? Forgiving each other, taking accountability, you know, growing up, respecting each other's space. Steve's preparation, he thought was in his presentation, right? Like I just said, you get the Johnny Gill and all these other different type of things, right? That he was trying to woo Laura, right? Steve thought that his preparation was to woo Laura. And Steve doesn't realize that his preparation was himself. Steve doesn't realize that his preparation was becoming a better version of himself. Because if you notice, that's when things started to move. It wasn't the wowing, because I said that Laura appreciates that, but Laura is not that type of woman, you know? And so I went, and we do this all the time. We ask God for stuff that, and we prepare for it in the wrong way. And so Steve thought like, okay, I'm in pursuit of her. Yes, pursue, because you need to pursue those things. But Steve thought his preparation was, you know, how much he could actually do for Laura. And not realizing that the greatest thing he can actually do for her is become a better version of himself let's go back real quick.
Kind,
Steve is kind.
generous.
Yep.
He's smart.
Yep.
And he makes me laugh.
All right.
Laura,
Let's get to it.
what do you love about Steve?
That's
Sweet and he's gentle. And he makes me laugh. And he's
Yeah.
really smart.
right.
And you know, one day I think one of his crazy inventions might change the world.
You know what I did not hear come out of Laura's mouth at all in any way that she described Steve was what he could do for me. Right? So this one, the point that I'm trying to make is remember all the things that Steve did for Laura. You know what I'm saying? And all the different things. Laura, not one time when she's describing Steve and it was like, man, I know he'll do anything for me. And look at all the stuff that he's done. Any of that. Because the greatest gift, I'll tell you the three biggest gifts that Steve gave Laura. Right? No, it wasn't no Johnny Gill tickets. You know what I'm saying? No, it wasn't the smoochie-this. No, the three biggest gifts that Steve gave Laura was becoming a better version of himself. One, time. I think Laura started to recognize, you know what? Steve gave me time to figure it out, time to get confident in who I am, time to get, confident in who we are, what we could be. That's why I think it was so important when Laura said, I think one of his inventions one day will change the world. Potential, right? The big thing is grace. I think Laura knew that even though Steve was with Myra, Laura was always a priority. I think when Steve was with Myra, because Steve and Laura's vibe was so strong, Laura could still feel Steve's love for her and all of that, right? Something that Laura looked at and took inventory of as well. It's like, wow, this guy gave me time. I keep telling you, one of the greatest gifts you can ever give somebody is your time. It's the greatest gift you can ever give somebody. This stuff gets on my nerves when people say, Laura made him wait. And I'm like, yeah. So you're saying Laura made him wait till she was mature enough to give him what he's actually asking for. Like, do y'all realize the asinineness in that Laura made him wait for the better version of herself Now remember what I said. Let me go back here. Remember what I said, how Steve and Laura looked at love. Steve looked at it as a stance, unmovable. I don't care, Myra, you can prance around in your whatever you want to do. Okay, you're not changing my heart, right? It was a stance for Steve. Now remember with Laura got a little bit intimidated when it came to love because Laura saw it as a measurement. Okay, so I wonder if y'all recognize in the end, Laura saw it as a stance, right? May have taken her time, but she is giving him the best version of herself. It's this version that doesn't care what anybody thinks. It's the version that is 10 toes down on her and him and them and anything that comes with it and anything that comes against it. Man, y'all haters can go say whatever you want to say about Laura, but the one thing you cannot say about her is that she cheated Steve. That she cheated Steve out of anything. Because when you go and want to give your best self to somebody else, you're not cheating them. See, a lot of y'all little ragamuffin, little raggedy selves will go get with somebody and be like, and just accept me for who I am. And that's not loving yourself right. And that's not loving the other person right. Laura made Steve wait. But Steve, in the waiting process, as I heard Triple E say, in the waiting room, Steve actually got the best version of Laura, and he's the only one that gets this version of her. And the version of her. Y'all feel me on that one? The version of her. Y'all see what I'm... Okay. And because the whole wooing thing, this is why I love Steve and Laura so much, y'all. I love Steve and Laura so much. Because the whole wooing thing, and she had all that with Stefan. Lights, camera, action. She modeled down a runway with Stefan. Laura don't care about that stuff. She's just a Chicago, girl next door. That's what Laura is. And the beautiful part in this is that is not only who Steve loved, but that's who Laura maintained to be through it all and just became a better version of herself. So even though Laura was swayed this way and swayed that way, she did not need those things. Laura doesn't need those things. Just like I try to tell you, Myra gasses Steve up, gassed him up. He don't need that. Steve just needed Laura to love him with unconditional, unmovable, with an unconditional, unmovable love and a stance. right? That's Steve didn't need all that extra stuff. Laura didn't need all that extra stuff. You know, people rooting them on, and she did at one point. That is the point, though, right? She did at one point, but Steve gave her that time. Whether people recognize it or not,
This is what the Bible says about this. Let me
waste
give this to you real
that
quick.
time.
I think it's Matthew
She did
6
not
and
waste
23.
But just check this out, right? This is kind of how we walk around. This is why a lot of people cannot see Steve and Laura for what it is, and maybe maybe this dude right here. It says, but if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? Oh my goodness. It says, if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. Darkness. Let me give it to you another way. It says the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is the darkness? My goodness. What that is summing up is saying is that you can't serve two masters. You're either good or, you know what I'm saying? You either have good eyes and a good heart or you don't. It's just what it is. And that's why, and that's what I'm saying when it comes back, let me bring it back around to the Stephen Laura storyline. What's so beautiful about it is that maybe Laura's eyes weren't right at that time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she didn't see things right at that time. And maybe there's a level of maturity that Steve still needed to get to see better, right? And so now Laura's eyes are fixed. And they're fixed on the right things. And so now her heart and her body is full of light now. And it's just a very powerful thing. But yeah, love God, love people. May God bless you. May God keep you.
It's the murder,